Now,
Good.
we have another discussion going on at Websleuths, the Suzanne Simpson case. We have 6 threads going on. Now, a thread, we don't do this anymore, but in the olden days, like a few years ago, there were still people that had dial-up. So if a discussion thread had too many posts on it, we would close it and start a new one because it would take too long to load if people had older computers. But that is no longer a problem. So now it will just be one long thread. But I'm going to put up the latest thread here about Suzanne's case. Now, this is an interesting case. She was a realtor, wife, and a mom of 4. But Megan, you've really been following this case, haven't you?
Well, she disappeared on my 50th birthday right
There you
in
go.
my backyard. And it turns out that my partner's kids went to school with some of her kids. And
Yeah.
so it has hit very, very close to home. I know the area. I actually spent quite a bit of time on Saturday driving the area between, all of the different locations where things happened, trying to get a feel and understanding for what happened the night she disappeared. It hits close to home too, because it's another case of domestic violence
Mm-hmm.
where, just like the Brian Walsh case, she had all of the resources in the world at her disposal and was unable to get away. And so it's a very scary and sad situation, and something that really hits me close to home for sure.
So has there been any new developments, or did you just decide that since it was so close to home, you wanted to do a deep dive and what's
Well,
been
the
happening?
trial is going to be happening here in San Antonio fairly shortly. The jury
Mhm.
selection actually starts on February 13th,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
going to be tried right here in Bexar County. Yeah.
So her husband, or is it who is it that's going on trial?
Yeah, her husband has been arrested and detained, and he initially was charged with, some domestic violence charges, but they upgraded the charges. They vacated his bail. His business partner was also arrested and charged with some, evidence and weapons charges as well. And the one of the interesting things about this is that it is a very affluent part of the San Antonio community. It's a very small, incorporated town that's surrounded by San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very tight-knit community. And I was reading, over the last few days, that her older daughter, who is now, I believe, 21, went on to social media and was basically talking about the fact that this very small affluent community really tries to silence domestic violence happening in the community. They try to
Wow.
keep each other's secrets, and she's been speaking out on social media talking about how that needs to stop.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that this was an ongoing issue in their marriage. Is that right?
Yeah, she actually made an outcry to her private banker back in August. So her disappearance happened on October 6th of 2024. Just in August, she told her personal banker that if something ever happened to her, that she should look for her body in a body of water.
Oh my
So,
God.
and she even had done other outcries to other people, saying things like, if she ever left him, he would put me in the ground.
So that's why she stayed?
Well, yeah, I mean, apparently she was trying to escape. She had a go bag at a friend's house. She was
Mhm.
trying to make plans to get out. But when there are children involved as well, I've been in this situation myself before. Like, I could get myself out, but I didn't want to leave my kids with the crazy person,
Yeah,
and have them be in danger. So getting the kids and yourself out to a safe location, then there's also, they're in a school that they love and they're friends, and you don't want to take them away
exactly.
from that. And her family was relatively close nearby. So how do you actually escape the relationship when your support system is also close by in a place you can be found? So it's such a complicated problem. It's so difficult, and it's something I want to talk more about on my channel, because I think so many women have been or are in this situation and don't know how to get out.
Yeah. And you know what? I know this is going to sound weird, although it is rare, but men have been in this situation too. I knew
Yes.
of one. And
Yes, it's so
it
true.
makes it makes it worse because they're like, really? Really? She beats you? She beats
Right.
you,
Right.
Mm.
Right. And I just, yeah, I agree with you 100%. We also need to talk about the fact that men are victims of domestic violence as well. It's most often it's social violence, it's reputation destruction, it's
Yes.
accusations of abuse that never happened. You know, men's reputations and lives get destroyed by women, by abusive women all the time as well. So it does definitely go both ways.
Jessie Roblin has a comment here that looks really interesting. She was actually on the phone with her best friend and needed the internet to do homework after. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about this case, Jessie. I'm sorry. Sorry, you're talking about a case that happened with you. My apologies, Jessie.
Yeah.
See, I get all excited. It's so weird when you go into chat. You just see the weirdest things, and you have to try and catch up, and it can be a little
The
hard. But
context,
the
yeah.
context, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes
And-
it's yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to see if they're talking about this case or their own
something else,
experience.
yeah.
I'm so sorry
Yeah.
that happened, Jesse.
But and yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
Yeah.
It just sounds terrible.
I
So,
want to say that one of
go
the
ahead,
things,
Stace.
sorry, Trish,
No, go.
that just drives me crazy is when people say, why didn't they just leave?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
drives me crazy. There's so much more to it than just walking out the door.
Yeah, and let's just say in general, if you ever start a sentence with the phrase, "Why didn't you just?"
Mhm.
You're already in the wrong. Let's
Yeah,
just let's
exactly.
not put that out there. We those of us on the outside always have such easy solutions for really complicated problems. And in my situation as well, again, I was terrified to leave my kids behind. I didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
resources. And so in researching this case and the Walsh case, I've actually spoken to a lot of domestic violence advocates. People are trying to help women and men who are in domestic violence. And they say really what these people need is they need cash. They need places that they can go. There are domestic violence resources all across the country. There are shelters that women can go to, men can go to. There are ways that you can get rides, you can get resources. And so just reaching out to the National Domestic Abuse Hotline is kind of the first step. And when I was talking about the Walsh case, when I was wrapping that up, I actually read a risk assessment that law enforcement now uses to determine whether or not somebody is in lethal risk. And they say, you know, it's a list of 20 questions that they ask you. And if you answer yes to even 3 of the questions, then your life is in danger and you need to take action to get out. And one of the questions that they say is just bottom line, do you feel safe in your own home? Are you afraid of your intimate partner? If you're afraid of your intimate partner, you've already answered the question, you're going to have to leave at some point. And the next thing is overcoming that psychological hurdle of, yeah, it's going to suck and you're going to have to uproot yourself and your kids, possibly your pets, possibly lose a lot of your connections. But would you
Yes.
rather have those things or would you rather be alive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And the abuse hotline has a great website. It's really easy to find. It's thehotline.org. And they
Yeah.
have all I was just looking at, they have all kinds of things. But here's the problem. And this does make me crazy, Megan. There is a mental illness, and I'm not sure what it is, but they won't leave because they keep thinking, oh, he'll change. He'll change.
Yeah.
Or they leave and then go back.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing? He's going to kill you. I have a friend in a situation like that right now.
Yeah.
Got him out of the house. Everything was fine. All of a sudden, he's back there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my God, it's so frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, can you help me with that? Because that
Yeah.
makes me angry.
Please,
And
Megan, help
I
her.
should understand. Somebody help me, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And I should be more understanding. But I just want to grab them and go, what the hell are you thinking? So,
And
ahead.
So,
she's
yeah, so
serious too, because her and I discuss this sort of thing all the time, and she really doesn't get it. So
I don't, because it pisses me off.
Sorry,
I
Megan.
understand. I understand, you know, everything about leaving, about trying to leave, all of that. But it's when they got back together with them
right.
after they got out. It's like, I don't get it. Don't get it.
Yeah, so there's a variety of different things. And I should say, first of all, I am not a mental health professional at all. I always say I'm only an expert in my own trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that talking about my experiences helps other people. But there's a variety of things. One is Stockholm syndrome, where you start to feel sorry for the
There you go.
person who
Yeah.
is
Right.
captivating you. The other thing is, as somebody mentioned in chat, trauma bonding,
Mm-hmm.
where you've gone through this really horrific thing together, and it feels really hard to disentangle yourself from that, because that lived experience that you've gone through together, even though they were causing the problem,
Mm-hmm.
having gone through it together, the whole cycle of forgiveness and saying, like, I want to believe he can change or she can change.
Yeah.
I want to believe things are going to get better. And then there's also the narcissistic elements of it, where the person will actually love bomb you and say, I'm
Yes.
so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I never should have done
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm going to change. I promise. And
I'm
things are
gonna
good for a
change.
few
Yeah.
days. And then they go back to the same behavior. And that's one of the things that makes it so difficult to escape. And in my situation, I can say that it felt comfortable for me to be treated that way, because that's how I was used to being treated.
Right.
I was used to being love bombed and gaslighted and having somebody hurt me and then have them apologize and say they were sorry and say they were going to change. And so that cycle felt really familiar to me.
Right.
And to be in a situation where I wasn't experiencing trauma felt unsafe, because I was expecting it around every corner.
Yeah, exactly. I now see, I understand all of that. Yes, and thank you, Red Like Wine again. Red Like Wine again is such a great, great mad chatter. I mean, she's always offering.
Yes.
She always comes up with what we're thinking of, trying to think of. So thank you, my dear.
Yeah.
But and I get all of that. But and again, I can even, hey, if two adults, if they're going to do this, and the man or the woman is going to keep going back and get abused and leave and get fine. But when kids are involved, it's like, how can you do that to your kids? I remember, let me tell you this quick story. And it was somebody that I worked with, and they had left their husband and then went back. And of course, the abuse started again. And one day I look in the newspaper, and there are SWAT teams all around her house, and guns pointed. And she texts, she emails me and says, yeah, it's not going as well as I thought it would. And I'm like,
Oh.
are you kidding me? I'm sitting here looking at a SWAT team
Oh my
outside your
God.
house. What do you mean? And she left and went back to him with these kids. And I know this was 20 years ago. I know those kids are probably all in prison now. And that's what makes me crazy. Why do you keep going back with your children? Why would you put your children through that? Again, I'm not saying you need to arrest the mom or anything. It's just like, how do we get through to them? How do we get through to them? If they're being love bombed, if they're trauma bonding, again, like you said, you were comfortable. You were
Yeah.
comfortable in that. And I guess we just need more resources. I had a friend
Mhm.
who's a sister, back and forth, back with the guy, back and forth, back and forth. And he finally said, no more. You call me, I'm not doing anything. You call 911. Well, she calls him, and she says, I need a ride to the YWCA. And he says, nope. And so he called me and he said, I can't do it. Can you do it? I said, I'll do it. So I took her and I said, this is the only time I'm going to do this for you. I said, this is the third time you've left him. And then went back, and she never went back again. She got her nursing degree and, has done really well since then. But I know it's difficult to break. And I know you're not a professional, but, I play one in my own mind all the time. How do I, because for some reason, it seems like I've had a lot of these people in my life that have kids, they're with an abuser, and it's been a man too. And then they'll go back and forth. What can I, as a friend who they lean on, what can I say? I don't know what to do.
I think the hard part is that nobody can convince someone
Mhm.
that they're in an abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people in an abusive relationships don't want to believe that they're being abused, because that's shameful. You
Right.
know, the idea is like, oh, if I was being abused, then I should leave. And if I don't leave, I'm a piece of crap. And especially if I've got kids in there. So
Kids,
it's like this
right.
shame cycle that keeps going.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot, it is like, yeah, you did. It is like being in a cult. you cannot convince someone that they need to leave a relationship. You cannot convince them that they're being abused, and you cannot convince them that leaving is the best thing for them and their kids. It is something that they have to come to on their own. I think the most important thing, the thing that I needed when I was in that situation, was just for people to keep encouraging me to do what is best for me and my kids, and to not worry about the consequences of the abuser. Because for me, that was a lot of it. Like, the police came to my house on more than one occasion, asked me if I wanted to have my former spouse arrested. And I would say no, because I was like, oh, he's going to go to jail. He's going to have bail. It's going to be expensive. He's not
Right.
going to be able to get work. I would go through all of this catastrophizing in my head, thinking about his consequences
Yeah,
rather than thinking
exactly.
about what
Exactly.
was being done. And so I really needed people to continue supporting me in knowing what was best for my kids and doing what was best for my kids. Because it was a lot easier for me to show up for my children than it was for me to show up for myself.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
that was ultimately what got me out of it, was realizing that I could not be a good mother if all of my time and resources were being sucked up by this abusive relationship. And
And that's
so
a good point.
it really just takes continuing to encourage the person in the situation to do what is best for them and their kids, and to continue to support them as much as you can without draining your own personal
Right.
resources.
Right.
Because we all, of course, have limits on that. If they're calling you every other night at 2 a.m. with a crisis, you can't involve yourself in that. Eventually, you have to say, here's the domestic abuse hotline. They can help you better than I can. I'm going to keep supporting you as much as I can, but they can do more for you than I can.
That's a good point. Peekaboo Cockatiel says, it is codependency. It is a sickness. I've been there too, except once I got out, I stayed out, but it's so hard to leave. And I get that. And guys, I am not being judgmental. I promise you I'm not. What I try and do, and this is the thing that I have found that works, is two things. I say, let's reverse roles. What if you were watching me do this and my kids were going through what your kids are going through? What would
Yeah.
you tell me to do right now?
Yeah.
Every one of them. Oh my God, I tell you to leave. Then
Mhm.
why, then let's do
Yeah.
that with you. Okay. And then the other thing that I tell them is, again, you've got to do this for your kids. When your kids get older, do you want them to remember you going back and forth? You got to realize when you are being abused, that's abuse to your children. They don't
Right.
have to be hit to be abused, but watching you be abused, that's abuse. Do you abuse your children? They'll say no, and I'll say yes, you do, because you won't leave this abusive relationship, and therefore they are subject to abuse as well.
It teaches your kids that it's okay for someone
Yes,
to treat you that way. And
exactly.
so it's not direct abuse, but it is exposing them to the idea that it's okay for someone to treat me this way. And I want to say, Lisa Foster in chat, that this is really, really, really important for everyone to understand. The most dangerous time for a domestic abuse victim is when they are trying to leave.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is when things escalate. And I think that's what happened in the Brian Walsh case. I think it's what happened in the Suzanne Simpson case. It is what happens to so many women, because the idea of the abuser losing their victim and being exposed is so scary that they go ballistic and they're willing to do anything. And many of them do end up murdering their partner, because they're so terrified of what's going to happen if they get away and if they get exposed.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, sorry, McSpunky. Oh, King Dee Dee, Trisha. Dee 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 Dee. And you're right. I've always felt that, and you're right, that is the most dangerous time. But I've always felt like, don't tell them you're leaving. Don't say, well,
Oh
I'm going
no,
to leave
don't.
you.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
Sneak.
Right, but
sneak,
just
sneak.
but just the act of pulling away, or the act of standing up for yourself, all of those things can be really
Yes,
dangerous, which is why the domestic abuse, all of the resources say that what these people need, men and women both, but mostly women, they need cash, they need burner phones, they need a place to stay, they need rides. These are the kinds of things that help them to escape.
exactly. And Marlene Clausen says, teaches your kid that love is meant to hurt. And that's a bad lesson. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
For some
yeah.
reason, when I was like 22, I got a wild hair and I decided to volunteer and weekends at a domestic abuse shelter. And I'd have to sleep there. And damn, it was so eye-opening. I couldn't believe it. Everything we've talked about is what happened. And there was one woman that had 7 kids, 7. And she called and we went and we got all the kids, brought them there, and she was able to stay out. And I just, I admired that woman so much. You know, she got a minimum wage job, but she did it all for her kids. And sometimes, yeah, you are supposed to put your oxygen mask on first before you can take care of everybody else. But
Yeah.
sometimes you need a reason to put your oxygen mask on first, and that's to take care of your kids. Make sure
Right.
that you can take care of them. Okay.
Right.
And yeah, oh, it's so frustrating. Like I said,
No.
I have a situation right now where it's, you know, it's like, why, you know what you have to do, you know, why don't you do it?
Well,
They can't.
I want to say,
Yeah.
Trish, while that stuff you said earlier that you said you'd say to the person,
Mhm.
that's all completely logical and totally accurate. The thing is, this situation, it's not logic, it's emotion.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's when you throw that in, there's a completely different dynamic. There's even the times they really love them. They just want that to change. Like, you know, Megan said,
Yeah.
and we've all said and they think they can change them. That's, you
Yeah.
know,
But
you're not going
what
to
can,
change somebody, but
no,
yeah.
but
And
what are you supposed to say? I see, I don't know.
no, that's what I'm
That's a,
saying. What you said
yeah,
is right. It's perfect,
right.
you know, but for
But it's not
them,
logic. But for them,
there's
it's not about
emotion.
logic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about logic. You know, like I said, my cousin
Mhm.
is dead because of
No.
she kept letting her daughter back in. You know, oh, she's gonna change. No, she's not. You
Yeah.
know, like I said, I got her out. I got a restraining order against her. And she was sleeping across the street from her mother's house, you know, trying to sneak back in. And then her mom would sneak her back in, trying to sneak her away from me, you know, and make her lunch.
Yeah.
And the cops said they were going to arrest her, my cousin. I said, God, I wish you would. I wish you would arrest her, you know, because she's violating the restraining order too. Instead, she got cancer and died. And she might as well just put a gun to her head, you know. And
Yeah.
the thing is, she thought she was helping her. And I said, the only way she will get help is if she doesn't have anywhere to go. That's the only way. She had everything. She could have gone into any
Mhm.
rehab,
Yeah.
anything. But it was such a sick dynamic, you guys. It was
Yeah.
so sick. And again, I can't. She said, well, "What would you do for your kid?" I said, I am not saying I wouldn't do the same thing. I don't know what
Yeah.
I'd do. I said, but I can tell you from the outside looking in, I know what needs to be done. I would hope that I would understand that the only way to help my child is to make sure that he can't just keep coming back every time he, you know, screws up and wants something, you
Yeah.
know,
Or
that
that
he
you had
needs.
a good friend like you.
Yeah, exactly. So
Helping.
I just, you know, I can't judge because I don't know what I'd do if that was my child. I would hope I would do what the thing you need to do. And I would tell my cousin, I'd say, you feel guilty, right? And she'd say, yeah. And I said, so you're really doing this for you. Isn't that kind of
Mm.
selfish?
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
she'd go, oh my God. I said, you're doing it so you don't feel guilty,
Yeah.
but it's harming your child. So you're
Yes.
the one being selfish, you know?
That's
And
so
she'd go,
intuitive. Sorry.
yeah, well, you know, that's me, misintuitive,
Yeah.
misintuitive. So, but
You know,
anyway,
one of the things that was hard for me to learn, and I'm still learning, I'm still practicing it, is that the kindest thing that you can do for someone is to tell them the truth.
it's
And
hard.
telling somebody that they are hurting you
Mhm.
is the best thing that you can do for them and for you. It
Yeah.
is so difficult to do, you know, trying to cut off that support for someone that you love and care about. I've done it. It's really hard. It's heart-wrenching. It's horrible. It
Yeah.
sucks. But just, you know, mental illness is one of those things you can't mess with, either for yourself or for someone else. And, you know, sometimes intervention and drastic change is what's needed. we always think it's like, oh, it's going to be the end of the world. And the reality is that it's not. It's the beginning of something really beautiful and new. It
Exactly.
just feels incredibly scary.
All right. And Red Like Wine again, thank you. Says Trisha, just validate them that they're going through a tough time and build them up. And I do.
Active
I
listening. Yeah.
yeah, I believe me, many hour on the phone,
Yeah.
listening, doing everything I can. But you know, again, I feel like one day, guys, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to be crying and I'm going to tell you the whole story because she's dead, and
Yeah.
it just terrifies me. It absolutely terrifies me.
And that's
So,
one of the things when you practice, wow, active listening, um, especially with your children, you
mhm,
learn so much that when you talk to somebody in this situation, you'll hear them talk, you'll learn what's important to them, what they're really scared about, and in some way you might be able to help with that.
right,
Right.
And
exactly.
Right.
another way with the children, we were talking about with your cousin's daughter, I think you
Mhm,
said, or friend's
yes.
daughter, that doing them, and I've talked to you about a family member that's a female close to us,
Mhm,
and when you give in, like give in to them all the time, they have no reason to quit doing what they're doing. They have no
right.
reason to change because they're getting all their needs met and they're
Right.
getting what they want while they're still doing it. So like we're talking about, the part of cutting them off. If you take that away, I know it's super hard. That's half the battle right there.
Absolutely
Yeah.
right. Absolutely. And Lindy too. Lindy, I'm assuming you're talking about what you went through because, like Neil Campbell said, these stories in chat are amazing, and I want to tell some of them. It got to the point where a fight broke out. I decided that I didn't want my little brothers exposed to that anymore, so I took their hands and led them to the bedroom, and we sat on the bed and waited. I am so sorry, Lindy
Good
too.
for you though.
I mean, but that is good for you to get them. I mean, I'm sure you were young too, and you
Yeah.
got them out of that situation, and good for you. And let me tell you, abuse is not always hitting.
Right.
Yelling is considered abuse. And that's what I grew up with. It was horrible. I mean, thinking about it now, I could just start bawling. I have a pit in my stomach. I'll
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
forget the day we go to the Cottonwood Country Club every Wednesday night for dinner. And I remember my brother asking if he could get wire ring glasses. And I just remember, I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a fight. And my dad said, sure. And just thinking about it now, I feel so relieved. It was the relief. Oh God, there's not
Hmm.
going to be a fight. Oh my God, thank you. That was my whole childhood. I was like this, you know? And
Mm.
it is yelling and screaming is abuse.
Yeah.
And also ignoring is abuse. And I think I've told you this before. I'll tell you one more time. A therapist I was seeing gave me the best advice or told me the best information. He said, I can treat somebody that has been beaten. I can treat someone that's been physically abused. He said, but the hardest people to treat are the ones that have been completely ignored. He said,
Yeah.
whether they're kids or even adults, he said, that is the worst form of abuse to treat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I went, wow, that's true. That's absolutely true. Because we are
It's
talking about,
neglect. Yeah.
yeah. And again,
There.
it doesn't mean neglect as a child. It could be, your spouse and you're sick and they
Yeah.
completely ignore you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, somebody was going to speak and I just blathered on.
Megan.
No, you're fine. One of the most healing things for me when I was going through, my process of healing was a book called Running on Empty by Dr.
Hmm.
Jonice Webb. And it talks about childhood emotional neglect. But like you're saying, it doesn't have to be a parent to a child. It can also be, an intimate partner or whatever.
Right.
It is, just like you're saying, when you are kicked or punched or hit and you have a bruise to show, it's a lot easier to point to it and say that was abusive. But
Exactly.
when your emotional needs are ignored
Mhm.
or neglected and you don't ever learn how to name or process your emotions, that neglect is as harmful, does the same things to your brain chemistry as physical abuse does.
Yep.
And so a
Absolutely.
lot of us don't realize that we have symptoms of being abused without anybody ever touching us. And sometimes it's the fact that they don't touch us, they don't hug us, they don't, give us that validation and that physical, touch that we need as children. And so
Absolutely.
it can really go both ways. It was really eye-opening to me to realize that, oh, I didn't have to have bruises or physical scars in order to have these symptoms.
Right. Absolutely right.
And
And I just want to say,
right.
Mitzi Blankenship, I am so, so sorry. My
I
dad
know.
was an alcoholic and I was his punching bag.
Oh
I
God.
hope, my darling, that you've gotten help and that you're doing okay. I'm so sorry. I think, and Megan, it's like you said, everybody's childhood, there's trauma, you know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't
Mhm.
mean that you weren't loved. My parents loved me. God, I was traumatized as hell, you know? So it's
Yeah.
just, it's very, very difficult. Yeah, Marlene Clausen, it's like walking on eggshells,
Mhm.
or the floor is black and white blocks, and someday they are electrified. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
And like, we learn that in child development.
mhm,
Emotional abuse
yeah.
is more damaging than physical, and it's harder to get over. And like
Hmm.
I say, bruises and cuts heal, but the
Yes.
emotional trauma does not go away like that.
It
You know,
Yeah.
doesn't. It doesn't. And Bipolar Express says, "That was my dad." You guys, I'm so sorry, but I'm glad to
jeez.
see that you're talking about it because that's gotta help.
Yeah.
That's gotta help. It's got
Yeah.
to help. You guys, I'm so sorry. And if I've missed your story, I do apologize. So yeah, MBW, trauma upon trauma upon trauma, you know? So yeah, verbal abuse, it's absolutely awful. And that's why as when Will was old enough to understand it, I still apologize to him, in case there was, I know the areas when I was sick that I wasn't able to be as present as I wish I could have been. And
Yeah.
I just want
Yeah.
him to know how sorry I am. You know what? That healed him almost immediately, almost immediately.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, Trish, it wasn't that bad. He said, you just slept a lot. I thought you were just tired all the time. And I said, yeah, but honey, I couldn't get out of bed. And he goes, I know. He said, I had fun. I had fun most of the time. And I said, okay, well, thank you, honey. I said, but I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. So,
Yeah. And we,
Just acknowledging it
mhm,
and, the apologizing, but acknowledging it and
yes,
validating it is what so many people need. You know.
absolutely.
100%.
And
Yeah.
Megan, what were
And
you going
what
to say?
I
Yeah.
was just going to say that, it affects all of us differently. Whatever it is that
Yeah.
we went through that was traumatic to us, it affects everybody in different ways. But the universal truth is that if we don't work to heal our emotional wounds, we end up acting dysfunctionally in our other relationships all the way into
Mhm,
adulthood. And we don't even realize that we're doing it. It comes across it manifests in so many different ways. We can come across as needy or disrespectful, or we can come across as, rude, or, even just not able to bond with people well. But almost all of that comes from dysfunction in our earliest relationships, which is often our relationship with our parents or
mhm.
in our very first romantic relationships as well. And if we
Mhm.
don't heal those wounds, we do end up hurting the people around us unconsciously. And so that's why I always say almost everyone needs therapy in some form, even if it's just talking about your negative experiences and figuring out how that affected you.
Exactly right. And Marlene Clausen, this is a great idea.
Yeah, it
Marlene
is.
says, isn't this great? Let's all work to be someone's great memory. Start to rewrite the story. And I've always said
Yes.
that if you see a kid out there that maybe just needs someone to talk to, step in. That's what happened with me. My girlfriend's mom, I mean, if it wasn't for her, I don't know what I would have done. And we can all do that. We can all help somebody, our neighbors, somebody out there, that's lonely, you know? So, oh, I'm so sorry, McSpunky. N I you know, I just said, "My sister made my life hell," but then he's got a laughing emoji.
I don't know if he's being facetious, but anyways, he needs some love, so I put it up there.
Yeah, let's give him some love, everybody. Give
Yeah,
him
well,
some love.
I don't think we talk enough about sibling violence. It happens so
Oh my
often,
God.
and
Yes.
it can be
Yeah.
Yes.
so, so traumatic.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh.
I was lucky. My brother was my bud, but he and my dad just fought constantly. It was horrible, but yeah, he protected me. He was great growing up, except when he kept dropping me on my head.
You know,
So,
I had three older sisters, and I
mhm.
literally saw one try to kill the other.
Oof.
It
Oh my
was just
god. How
awful.
old were you?
So I would have been under 10 because it was
Oh,
when we lived in the
Jesus.
valley.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my mom working. So I probably was about 8 when
Yeah.
she had that certain job. Yeah. And siblings, it can be terrible. And that's what
Oh.
people are always could seem so shocked, which,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally we're shocked by it, but there's some really harsh dynamics there in a lot of siblings.
Absolutely. Lindy too says, I've had a difficult life. I'm so very poor, but I've never been more happy and content. That is
Oh,
great to hear. That is wonderful to hear. So good for you. Good for you. Kelly J. By the way, welcome back, Kelly J. Everybody,
yeah.
she's free. Yay. Kelly J says, oh, my sister was horrible to me. She threw everything at me, including Nintendo controllers, phones, even a Barbie house once. Yikes. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't,
Oh, did I do
I
that?
was lucky. I was lucky. My brother was great growing up. He was, but
Mhm.
yeah, except when it came to my dad. So anyway, but yeah, I think it's good to talk about it. It's good to recognize it, and please don't ever think that, oh gosh, my trauma isn't nearly as bad as theirs, so I can't say anything. It's all relative, you know. The richest people in
Yeah.
the world have horrible problems, just like the poor ones. It's a little
Yeah.
easier when you're rich, I'll admit, but hey, still, I know a lot of happy people that aren't rich. I'll tell you that. So,
Oops.
and I
Well,
sure would
that
love to.
was.
Oh, go ahead, Megan. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna bring it back to Suzanne Simpson, and Brian Walsh. These were
Hmm.
families that were affluent families. They had tons and tons of resources. You know, they had therapy. They had professionals they could count on. They had
Hmm.
the possibility of being able to have. They had their own bank accounts. They could have found a way to get out, but they were
Right.
unable to. And it just goes to show you, it really does not matter. Wealth is no distinguisher of people experiencing abuse, and especially in this super closeted community,
Hmm.
they were all keeping each other's secrets, and that really led to part of the problem.
That's
And
horrible.
it's just, yeah, it's so sad.
Are you going to go to the trial?
I'm planning on attending the trial. Jury selection starts on February 13th,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna do basically a timeline of the case on my channel. I'm gonna pre-record it, just so I make sure that I get everything correct and get all my ducks in a row. I'm reaching out to several different people that I want to talk to in the community. Hopefully, they'll talk to me. Um, so far, I haven't gotten a lot of response. It just really seems like what the daughter is saying is true, that they're so good at trying to keep all of this stuff under wraps because it looks bad in the community, of these super
Hmm.
rich
Mhm.
people when something like this happens and people kind of keep it quiet.
That's so
Yep.
ridiculous. C. Cheadle says, yeah, my brother and sister hated me from day one. They hid when I
Oh,
was brought home. Oh my gosh. I don't know if my sister is alive. I am so sorry, C. Cheadle.
wow.
Wow. Just so many dysfunctional families, you know. Um,
Mm.
anyway, I'm glad to see everybody talking. And
Yeah.
we do need to talk it out. Maybe we should have we talked about this, Megan. We should do
Hmm.
what we talked about.
Yep,
Yeah.
once
Have
a
like
month.
mental health Fridays. Do you
Yep.
want to do that?
I would love to. Yes. I
Yeah.
think just having an outlet for people where they have a safe place to talk about things and can feel validated is so, so important.
Well, you know what, guys? Let's start this Friday. Are you free, Megan?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it? Once a month, we're going to have Mental Health Friday. Okay. Let's have it be well, this would be the second Friday. So, second Friday of the month.
There you go,
Okay.
right in the middle of the month.
Second.
Oh, and
Will you write
oh,
that down?
yep.
Okay.
And
Write it
remember, I
down.
had already contacted a guest about this because you pitched it to me before you guys had talked about it.
Hmm.
I mean,
Did,
before you talked about it.
yeah. Did they ever get back to you?
I will have to check, but we kind of forgot about that, and we're doing other things. So
Well, I
I'll
mean, we
make
could have a
sure.
guest on.
Yeah,
I'd
it
love to have
was.
a guest. That'd be
Remember, it
great.
was Dr. Maggie.
Oh, that's right. I'd love, let's see if we can get Dr. Maggie on. Oh, I know she'd come on.
Yep,
I love her. She's great.
because
Okay,
she's
guys.
trauma psychologist or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
This Friday, what is the date? What is that? 11th, 10th, 9th? Is it January 9th?
I think that's right. That is correct. Is this the ninth?
Okay, January 9th. Very good. So, January 9th, this Friday, we are going to have Mental Health Friday. Okay. Love the way Trisha just goes with, oh, thank you, Cat Ride. I do. I just like to go with the flow here. Okay. So this Friday, Mental Health Friday, we may have a guest, but what we'd like you to do is share your stories. We'll put the link in chat so you can come up and talk. Okay. And then just, if you want to share, you don't have to share. You know, it's very personal. And but I do think it's a good idea, and we should have resources ready to go, like the website, the domestic violence website. I'll put that up again, but we'll get these ready to go. In fact, hang on, guys, I need to make notes right now, because if I don't, I will completely forget. So, can you read a few things in chat while I make my notes, my darling?
Yeah, I'll also say the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 800-799-7223, or you can just text, and the number for texting is 88788, and all you have to do is text begin, and you don't even have to speak out loud to a person. You can just text the word begin to 88788, and you can talk with a professional who's there to get you plugged into resources. And I just have to say, you know, if you are worried that someone is going to see you searching for domestic abuse resources, or if you're worried someone's going to overhear you on the phone, there's your sign that you need to get out.
There, that is, yeah. If you're worried that somebody will see it and that scares you, that's why. Why are you staying with somebody like that? Okay, Megan, tell me that number again for the domestic violence hotline. What was that? What was it?
The text number is 88788. So
Wait,
all you have to do,
788.
yeah, all
Okay.
you have to do is text the word begin to 88788. Although I have to say, if you probably texted anything to that number, they would answer you.
Right. And so, and then what is the actual phone number again?
It's 800-799-7233.
I just wanted to put this in chat, and then I'm making a note here. Text, okay, and hotline.
Yeah. And when you go to, if you go to the hotline.org, I think Stacy put that in chat earlier, they have a little pop-up that comes up that's a security alert that reminds you that your internet usage can be monitored and it's impossible to completely erase. And if you're concerned that your internet use might be monitored, it's better to call the hotline. It's 799-7233 or 799-SAFE. That's 800-799-SAFE. And they'll tell you about digital security. They will give you, you know, the resources that you need to try and, you know, keep your communications private. Then you can clear your browser history, but also almost every library in every city has free internet browsing where you can go and you can browse without having to have a login so that nobody can track your history. I don't want to help out criminals, but you know, if you are trying to escape a bad situation, you can use internet resources at the library for free usually.
That's very true. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm just writing this down in these notes here so I can have them. So I'm going to put all of this information under the video when we're done. So 800, the hotline is 800-799-7233. And then if you want to text, you just text the number 88788 and text the word begin.
Yes.
And then somebody will call you. Okay, great.
Nice.
All of that.
And then we should also say, by the way, if you're in immediate danger, you should call 911.
Absolutely.
That's
Don't
what it's
hesitate.
there for. You know, if somebody is down the hall and hearing you and things are getting escalated, you just need to call 911. That's what it's there for, 100%.
Absolutely right.
You know, I'm going to make a list of books to share.
Okay.
On those nights. So, Megan, I'll text you later and ask you what your suggestions are, and I'll
that's
throw
a great
them in with the
idea.
ones I have and stuff. You know,
I have one right now, Walking on Eggshells.
Yeah, that's
how to deal with the borderlines. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and I bet everybody, if you read this book and you read the a borderline, what they are, you'll go, oh my God, that's so and so, you know. And the problem is with, and again, I'm certainly not a professional, but the problem is when somebody has an actual personality disorder, it's not like they can change it. Now, if they
Right.
admit it, and this is the hardest problem. Somebody like just let's take one of the cluster Bs, the borderline. Let's say somebody is told they're borderline, they have the borderline personality disorder, and they admit they do, and they want help. Well, then they can learn how to deal with it. But that is so rare
Very
because
rare.
the problem is they have borderline personality disorder. They don't think they have anything wrong. They think it's everybody
Right.
else. That's the whole
Well,
point of it. So yeah.
that, and the one thing I want to stress, for parents, if your children have that, which, they don't like legally, or they didn't used to, I don't know about now, but legally diagnose you with it till you were 18
Right,
because you were
right.
still growing and changing. And like my family member, we've discussed, when I saw signs in them, and I knew things weren't in the normal range of behavior. So
Mhm.
I found a clinical psychologist. And so many people are dismissive of children's behaviors, that seem out of
Yes.
the ordinary because they're thinking, well, we didn't abuse them. They've been raised well. They're fine. They'll outgrow it. You hear that
Oh,
a lot.
yeah, exactly.
And it's
Yep.
not good. And so if you notice something, you know what, take your child to a counselor,
Mhm.
a therapist. It can't hurt. They're fine,
Yeah.
or they need some help. And if they have
Mhm.
something like this, believe me, they're suffering.
Oh, absolutely. They're miserable. They're absolutely miserable. I have a board. You're absolutely right. And but it's hard for a parent, and I admire you for doing that, Stacy, because a lot of parents would just go, "Oh, they'll grow out of it. We'll just be a little harder on 'em. We'll discipline them a little more." No,
Mm, yeah.
it doesn't work that way. And in your situation, Stacy, it has turned out good. You know, because
Yeah.
again, you get help early on makes a big, big difference. But I have a borderline in my life, and I just even when I cut them out completely, it was still hell because they were going around causing problems, and I'm literally just sitting here doing nothing, and all this drama would happen. I feel like, oh my god, but that's borderline.
Yeah.
So again, there's all
I think
kinds of
it's
ones.
I I think a good question to ask is not, are they ever going to change or can I help them change? I think a good question to ask is, what would you do if you knew they were never going to change?
There you go.
Mm.
There you go.
If
That's a
you knew
great
this
idea.
this behavior was going to continue to be the same forever and never ever
Mhm.
change, what would you do with your life? Um, I also wanna say, I think it's gone now. Grandma LM said, "Please show the
A
hand
hand
signal to
signal.
show someone if you need help. If you're in a situation you cannot escape, it's just this, it's the 4, and then you close your fingers over it."
Was that what it is?
Mhm.
Okay.
With the
And so
SOS.
if you ever see anybody making this hand signal in public, get a good description of them and call 911. Let them know
Okay.
what you saw. If you can safely approach them, do so, but it's more recommended just to call 911 and give a good description of the person and who they're with.
Right. Jesse Roblin says, sort of off topic, but I love that my local PD now have another less lethal option for mental health calls. It's like a weird lasso.
Oh,
I've seen
wow.
that. Isn't it like is it kind of like a net that they throw
I
on
haven't
people?
seen that.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Hi, Mitch Riles. Good to see you, my dear. I love this guy. He came
Yeah.
into our chat, and and I gave him kind of a hard time because we were talking about Ramsey, and he came back and we discussed it. And I'm so happy to see you. Um,
Hmm.
Mitch Riles says, I recommend the CDC's website on mental health resources. They cover a wide range of categories and also insurance. I'm going to make
Great.
a note of that. So
Yeah,
on
me too.
Friday, when we do Mental Health Fridays, we can do that one. So
Thank you, Mitch.
thank you, and again, Mitch, thank you for coming back. I was kind of hard on him because by that time it was about the John Benet Ramsey case.
Well,
And by the time Mitch came around, I was just like, like a little poodle, getting all
anybody that's
mad.
been watching you all these years knows that when it comes to Ramsey, you lose your mind.
Well,
And you don't
I
have
do.
much patience with Ramsey. I'm
I, and
sorry.
I, I apologize, guys, but let me just say, it's when you know the facts, it's really obvious. And it's just, I've been relaying the facts for years and years and years. And and now we have a new crop of people coming up and they're not getting the facts. And so
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's up to
Like,
us.
yeah.
So yeah,
Like the Peterson case in
Um,
the West Memphis 3. And this is funny
exactly.
on the screen.
Joe
What's
Schmo,
this?
thank you for asking. I am perfectly safe. I appreciate it. I do not need any help. I am okay.
I
But I
love
do
Joe
appreciate
Schmo.
you asking. You know, I do have to tell this kind of funny story, but I think it's so important. I was out to dinner with a person who at the time kind of called him my adopted grandfather.
Mhm.
And I got up to go to the bathroom. I had seen this woman kind of staring at me, kind of weird throughout the dinner. And I
Mhm.
didn't know if maybe she thought she recognized me or something, but I went into the bathroom and she followed me into the bathroom. And when I came out to wash my hands, she was standing there waiting for me. And she said, "I'm so sorry. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but I just have to ask, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why do you ask?" And she said, I looked at you across the restaurant and I could see that you had these bruises on your clavicle right here.
Oh my
Oh,
And
God.
wow.
she said, I could just barely see these bruises. And I just was hoping that you were okay. I wanted to make sure that, I asked you just in case you needed help or something. And I just told her, I said sincerely, thank you so much for asking. That means the world to me that
Mhm.
somebody would notice that and have
Yes.
the courage to
Yes.
say something to me. But I said, I lift weights. And when I do power cleans and I'm right here, sometimes the bar hits me on my clavicle.
Yeah.
Oh,
And when
okay.
I'm lifting really heavy, I get
Mhm.
bruises on my clavicle sometimes. So I was like, thank you so much and I said, never stop asking
Wow.
people. Please always
Yeah.
No.
ask
Oh,
people.
that is
I
very
just
nice of
felt
her to
I
do.
was so grateful to her for doing that. But yes, like if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
I think about Anna Walsh posting that picture on Instagram where she had a huge bruise on her eye and a
Mhm.
big cut. And she didn't make really a comment on the post except to say #vulnerability. It's like, I really hope that her friends reached out to her and,
Oh,
gave
yeah.
her,
Yeah.
help and support. I just, I always get emotional about these things because, you know, you just never know what somebody's going through. And it's always so much better to ask and to say something than to just let it go.
Yeah,
Yes.
and again, sh I'm sure she never thought he would really kill her, you
Yeah.
know? And that's one thing that I think everybody needs to realize that, yeah, it can happen to you. Don't think it can't happen. It can. If you're with an abuser, it absolutely can happen. Peter Higgs
Well,
says, "Oh, go ahead."
I was going to say he had threatened to kill her before they were even married. He
Oh,
threatened her and
Jeez.
her best friend. She made a police report about it and then she refused to give any further information. So before they were even married, he had said that he was going to kill her. And so it's that and the other thing is if you've ever been choked, even once, even for a short amount of time,
Mhm.
your risk of being murdered goes up 70%.
Real I didn't know that. Oh my
I
god.
didn't know that either, Megan. That makes sense, but I did not know that.
Have
Yeah.
you been choked,
Yes, I
Megan?
was.
Oh, Jesus. I'm so glad
That's
you're out of that relationship.
jeez. Because
Good
that's
lord.
just crazy. I mean, I couldn't imagine being choked first. I couldn't. I couldn't imagine it.
No.
That's
And
terrifying.
I would
You
think that
know.
would be the end of the relationship for me. Peter Higgs says, "Oh my God, the Ramsey case is even still big down here in Oz." I know Australia it's really big in Australia, and I love my Aussie friends because they all think like I do,
Mhm.
and that's why they're perfect. So there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see, they are wonderful. I just want to read. Wendy Wobbles, good to see you. Spam Mama 44444444. Good to see you too. I
Yes,
lose
I'm
track of the
glad you're
fours.
here, Wendy. Sorry,
Yes,
Trish.
Wendy. Oh, I'm glad Wendy checked in. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, in case you missed it, you got to watch our New Year's Eve and go to the part where I'm wearing my sparkly outfit.
Yeah,
Because
Wendy was a goner for a minute.
yeah, Wendy was dead for a minute, but she came back. She's
I
fine.
used the D word. I
Yes,
said goner.
I'm so I want her to check in every single day. So
Oh my
you know,
God. I told my husband about that. He just
mm-hmm.
shook his head. My God.
I think the funniest part was,
My son
I'm going to
laughed.
start laughing again, when you said, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you, woman?
I didn't know I said that. I don't remember that part.
God, should I explain it really quick? I don't
I
think
think
Megan
I was
knows.
in
I
shock.
don't.
Yeah, I guess so.
Real quick. Okay. We were trying to raise money for this DNA test for Juanita Francisco, and we raised it. Yay. And so her family now will be able to find out who the killer is. Well, I threatened to sing a song. In fact, it's about my cousin Wendy, the one I was just talking about. And I said, I'm going to sing this song that my cousin Wendy and I wrote, and I'm going to sing it until we raise the money. And I sang it, and it's I'm a ghost, I'm a ghost, I'm a ghost, I'm out to get you. That's it. That's the song. And I said, I'm going to sing that for hours. Well, then somebody made a big donation, and I'm not looking at the chat or the screen. I'm looking at the DNA Solves website, and Ping is with us. And he goes, oh, look, he said, it must have been Wendy. Wendy made a donation. And I thought he was talking about my dead cousin, Wendy. And I said, well, that'd be kind of hard to make because she's dead.
Oh.
And Ping goes, what? And I go, yeah, she's dead. You know, she died. Yeah, she died a while. And they like, no. And I look, and it was Wendy Wobbles that had made the donation. And so Stacy starts freaking out and what, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you, woman? I'm like, I thought you were talking about my dead cousin Wendy, and you were saying she came back and made a donation. I didn't know. And then we all lost it. So now, because we said that about Wendy, I'm so afraid. I'm like, Wendy, you have to check in every single day for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, because of your history with that.
I know,
which
because
we didn't mention, but thank you, Angela, for coming in and mentioning
Angela
it.
Conley came in and said it. I have a habit of saying something about famous people, and then they're dead the next day. So,
Oh my gosh.
But Wendy Wolves has something going for her. She's not famous. It only happens with famous people.
Yeah.
So, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
But I
Anyway,
forgot what Angela said. Do you remember? She
it
came
was
in
just, it was just something like, remember Wolfwood Brimley, I think is what she said.
and
Yeah. Because that was one of them that I did. So anyway, and I think, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I also just put into chat the threat assessment from a place called the Laurel
nice.
Center.
That's great.
So you can go to the threat assessment. It's 20 questions, and I think they're all yes or no questions. And then when you hit submit, it gives you a result of kind of what your risk factor is. And they also have a safe exit button on that website where if you click the X, it shuts the browser down completely.
Yeah.
And it does not show where you have been visiting.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So if you're worried about getting caught, again, if you're worried about getting caught, that's already your sign. But you can take the threat assessment there, and you can get plugged into resources.
That's great. We'll have to keep that on our list too and share that. And,
yeah.
I'm just writing this down here so I won't forget it. .org.
I hate to do this, but Dr. Phil said something once, and
I agree. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I've never forgotten it. He said, it's not how they treat you in public. How do they treat you in private, behind closed doors?
Yep.
And that is so true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Somebody in chat also asked if we could put the resource for deaf people. So I just put that there as well. It's just the deafhotline.org.
Okay. That's a great idea.
Who asked that?
Great idea.
Was it Grandma LM? Somebody asked if they could share it, but I don't know if you guys let people share links in chat. So
I don't know if we do or
it
not.
doesn't
it was
allow
Emily Wilson asked, are you okay if I share the link to the deaf hotline? It's a hotline that is ASL accessible for deaf and hard of hearing. So the deafhotline.org.
Okay, that's easy to remember.
I just want to thank you so much for that. My granddaughter's deaf, and I don't see her that way. I just used to signing with her. I don't even think about it anymore. But that, it's so important to remember that.
Is she able to talk at all?
No.
Is she gonna? Is that something that you're gonna work on? Do you think, or?
We've been working on it. She has cochlear implant.
Oh, good.
But she will not wear it. right
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
And so she just makes sounds or signs.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how like now she's learned she can make noise, something out of her mouth, and it gets our attention.
Right.
What she feels it in her chest. She can feel vibrations
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So she'll make a noise to get our attention, and then because we have to be looking at each other to see what we're
Right.
saying. Sign, it's different.
Yeah.
You know.
She's so cute, you guys. When I'm talking to Stacy, I can hear her in the background. Oh my God, it's so adorable. She's just, she's having a blast, whatever she's doing at grandma. She's having a
Yeah.
great time. There's noise, things crashing, and then she's, yelling and making noise. And I'm like, I just love it when little kids make noises.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy,
She has a
So,
big thing of toys here in the living room, playhouses and Harry
yeah.
Potter houses and everything. So
Is she 5?
she's 6. She'll be 7 in February. But you're very
Wow.
good job though that you got that. Yeah,
See,
and
I'm starting to remember a little more.
yeah,
It's the blueberries that I'm eating every single day. So
yeah. And so
anyway,
we're hoping that she'll learn to talk when she's older, and
well,
she has
I'm
some
sure she
interest.
will.
I hope.
When she's ready, that she'll let you know. Right now,
But
she's having a good time, and her grandparents are great.
I
So,
just want her to have more ways to communicate than sign, at least read
right.
lips, something for her benefit. I mean, what if you use your cochlears and your batteries die on you?
Well,
I guess you have
exactly.
backup ones,
Right. But
you
still, you
know?
want to be able
Yeah.
to communicate. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Well, I
Anyway,
love
well,
you guys, but I've got an early morning, so I've got to
okay.
go.
You go.
Thanks so much for
Thank you,
having me.
Megan. We will see you on
Of course.
Friday, okay, for
Yes,
our very
I'll be
first
there.
Mental Health Friday, okay?
All right.
Yay. All right.
Thanks,
See you
Megan. We'll
soon.
see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, okay. I think that's it. Is that it? Do we have anything else?
I'm,
I don't think
hold
so.
on. I'm trying to remember what I put on the
And if
thumbnail.
everybody in chat, if I did not get to your story, I do apologize. I'm trying to more because the consultant told me I need to look at the camera more because I'm always looking at this and hunched over doing this thing and looking at the dogs and doing everything but looking in the camera. And he says I got to do that because people get annoyed and they leave. So I guess I do a lot of annoying things according to the consultant. I'm just one big walking annoyance.
Oh
So
my gosh. I'm so
yeah.
glad they're around.
Hey,
I don't have to
shush,
put my head in the
young
guillotine.
lady. Shush your mouth, young lady. Hey, we're getting close. We're getting
Not
close.
easy.
I know. I love you. We're getting close. We are getting close to time of the crime. It's going to happen very soon, right, Stacy?
Yep.
We are almost there. You know what? Maybe we should play that. Let's play the video. Do we have it,
Yeah, it should be
Andy?
saved unless one of us deleted it.
I didn't delete any videos, so let's see here.
I did a while back, but I didn't delete that one. Let's see.
Oh, it's not there. I don't see it. Do you have it handy?
Just okay. Let me grab.
Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to have a Patreon channel, and it will be $5 a month. That's it. No t-shirts, no anything, just us. And we're going to do true crime stories, but we're going to show you how people were living at the time. We're going to dress up like they wore the clothes back then and show you how things were at that time. I will tell you the first year that we are going to do, it's going to be a case from 1968, and it's in London. So we're going to be like mod, be hippies and mod, the Twiggy look, all of that. And I've got a phone from 1968. I've got a Sears catalog from 1968, and this thing is probably 10 pounds. I got all kinds of fun stuff from 1968. So
Chris just
anyway,
wants an excuse to buy stuff. No, I'm kidding.
yes, it is. And boy, is it fun. It's like, give me a year, I'll buy it. I accidentally bought that little disco suit that I wore on New Year's Eve. I literally accidentally bought that looking for a costume. And I'm glad I did. So we'll have to do one from like 1977 or so.
Oh my
So,
God.
and yeah, we've got to do one of those. But anyway, 1968, we're going to have it very, very soon. And again, it'll just be $5 a month flat fee. And it will, I really think you will enjoy, well, I know you guys will enjoy it. We are going to do it live on Patreon. It'll probably be on Saturdays. And, but it's going to be a lot different than this. It's going to be much more structured, but it's going to be a lot of fun too. So Mods and rockers, exactly. Angela
Yep.
Conley,
Yep.
mods and rockers.
Yep.
Woohoo! And hippies were big. They were big in England too, and big in the U.S. and
Yeah, and they were called the underground in England.
the underground. Yeah, I actually spent like 6
Pretty
weeks
cool.
in 1968, right in the heart of London.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so fun. I was 9, going
Oh
on
my
10. I'll never
gosh.
forget it. It was a blast. It was yes, Jesse Roblin, I believe you will actually see Stacy. You actually see Stacy in the trailer that we have here. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you,
more
Maine Coon
current
Mama.
pictures and stuff. Like,
Yeah, Maine Coon Mama, Nicole, thank you. So I might have it handy. Let me see if I can
I
find it.
got it. I uploaded it while you were talking.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, I was
Yeah.
babbling. Okay, here it is.
I was just waiting for you to finish.
Yeah, all right. Did you see Stacy? Let's play it again. I want to play it and stop it so people can
Okay.
see it because it's so cute. Let me let's see. I don't know. Hold on. Let me upload. Oh. There you go. And it was Stacy's son that made that for us. So I love it. Absolutely love it. So I'm very, very excited. And then I think, didn't we talk about this, Stacy? Like after a few weeks, we'll upload it to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And guys, I know again, $5, that's a meal. That's a good meal at Taco Bell. And so I know we tried to make it something that was affordable, but we certainly understand if you can't afford it. But this will be our only money-making thing since we're not monetized at all, which I love that we're not monetized. But again, we're going to have a lot of fun doing it, and we hope that you will definitely join us.
Yeah, we're going to be buying a lot of props and stuff for the
Yeah.
Patreon. So it'll be different than this one. Yeah.
It was gonna be a lot different.
Yeah.
Bipolar Express, that's right. That was so funny.
Really?
Um,
Are you serious that that happened?
didn't you know that some
No.
idiots, they were saying that you weren't real, Stacy.
Oh my
They
God, I didn't know that.
you didn't know that? Oh my God, we've been
No,
talking about it.
tell you, I
Yeah.
don't listen. Like I said, I don't listen to anything anybody else says about me. So I
Yeah.
have no clue.
It was the night that the trolls came strolling in, and they had said, on this other channel that you were AI. Because they've never seen you. It's just your face, and it's like, yeah. Remember we were talking about? We said, yeah, you were AI back in 2020 when there wasn't AI. You were just AI.
Yeah, I didn't know somebody seriously said that though.
Yeah. Oh,
That's-
seriously. Yeah.
Wow.
Junebug says, "Tell us how you met Stacy." Well, Stacy just came to my chat, and how did that happen? I started talking with you, and we started on chat. I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't calling you on the phone or anything. And then you
Oh.
became a mod, right?
Yeah, I think I know how that happened. Is because so as soon as your channel started, I
Mhm.
was in chat. I used to use my real name. I didn't have a username, and Ping
Right.
wasn't a moderator. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, Ping was, yes, he was the moderator.
He wasn't yet.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, I thought he was.
No.
Okay.
No, when you first started,
Mhm.
And
Oh, that's
then,
right.
yeah. So, and then you'd ask me to come on. The first time I came on, it was to talk about the Kristen Smart case.
The what case?
Kristen Smart case.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because it was close to you. That's right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I don't know, I started sharing information with you that I'd see, and then we talked because of the John Bonet thing.
Right. And that's when you, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Cause I'd have
Whatever.
you come up because when you talked about crime cases, you spoke well and you were easy to talk to. And I loved having somebody to talk with, to go, to bounce off of. And yeah, we did have a great time that night. Darby, we did, didn't we? But, and then, yeah. And then you said the one thing that does make my head explode.
Almost got me killed.
Almost, you were so close. You said, I think it could have been an intruder in the Ramsey case. You could
I
just
thought I
see
was
me.
toast.
Oh my God. I'm like, I thought, anyway, I sent you the Kohler book. I was calm, but I'm like, I can't have, no. But tell the story of how you found out that I was going to make you my co-host. I didn't know this until recently. This is so funny.
Oh yeah. So we were gonna do a show, and Jim Rathman was the guest that night. And so Trish had put me backstage, and she didn't realize that if she takes me off screen and I'm backstage, I can still hear everything she's saying.
I had Jim and I were on talking. We weren't live yet, and
Yeah.
Stacy was backstage. But I thought she couldn't hear us. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And then as soon as she put me down, she goes to Jim. She goes, "Well, I'm gonna make her my co-host. I guess I should tell her at some point." And that's how I figured it out. And I never said a word to you. I just let it happen.
No, and so yeah, I asked you, and you said yes, and the rest is history. And you finally just told me that just like a few months ago. I think that's the greatest story. I had
Yeah.
no idea, no idea. But everybody, I just want to tell you, Yuta is she's going to still be a mad chatter, but she's not going to be a mod anymore. She's just got a lot going on, and she's very busy. In the hours, she's over in Great Britain, so it's so different. So we love Yuta. We love you. Thank you so much. She's always welcome to come back, but I hope she pops in occasionally and lets us know how she's doing. So I want to thank all of our wonderful mods. That would be Lynn Gentoo, let's see, Love and Coco, also Four Sons Mom, Detective's Daughter, and Moonlight View, and Leisha Gallegos. Ladies, thank you so much. Kelly J, I am so glad that you are back. Wendy Wobbles, check in tomorrow. That makes me happy. Stacy, we'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget to check out websleuths.com, the very best true crime discussion forum ever. Until then, tomorrow night, darlings, we'll be here, 10:30 Eastern on Websleuths YouTube Live. We'll see you then, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.